Right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have five members at the meeting. I thought we could just go through the AGM today because, you know, I've told you all I'm moving. We're downsizing. Yeah, we're downsizing. So yeah, so we're actually started packing stuff up now because we've sold our house. So we have actually started packing stuff up. So we're in a bit of a muddle. Keith, can I ask you? I've put my book away with all my passwords in it.
Oh, right.
And I couldn't remember. I can't remember the password to get on here. So can you send an email to me with it in, please?
Yep, I'll make a note of that. Do that for you.
If you don't mind, because I can't find my book at the moment with my passwords in it. Right. Gillian has done. Are you right, Barbara? I'll just turn your sound on. Can you hear us, Barbara?
I can indeed. Can you hear me?
Right. Yes, we're there.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we have 6 members at the meeting. Gillian has done end of year, so we've got the end of year here. Our bank balance at the moment is £712.97p.
Good.
We have in stock the Feeble Day pins. We've got 331, which has cost us 178.74p. And Feeble Family pins, we've got 162 in stock, and they cost us £140.94p. So that is stock, and we have 712 in the bank in the Feeble Family account. So we're okay. We're looking okay. The total of the pins is £256.89p. So if you add that on to the bank balance, that's how much we have at the moment. Right. We had got to make heads and tails of this. She gave me a list of how many members we've got. Can't find. Right, off the top of my head, we had 30 members this time last year. We've now got 49 members. We've had 6 who didn't renew this year, but we have got 49 members, so we have got enough to cover paying for blue jeans and everything else. So we are okay with what members we've got. Oh yeah, I can see it now. It's at the bottom here. 4 members didn't renew. We have 23 new members this last year, and at the moment we've got 49 members up to date. 1 member paid. 1 member has not paid. 1 member paid for 2 years. 1 member paid for 8 years, and 8 new applications after I put the thing on the Facebook page. We got 8 new applications, and not one of them are paid, so that didn't really do any good. So that's any questions on that? Any questions at all? No. So that's what Gillian has put together for the end of year. It looks okay. I mean, we're not in it to make a profit. We're just in it to keep the people's memory alive. So that's doing well and doing that. I don't know. Jan hasn't joined us today, but Jan has. Well, we have had a problem with a member, and I was just trying to find his name.
Oh, Ronnie.
I don't know if any of you heard of Rishi Sharma.
No.
No. Well, he joined within 2 weeks ago, and he's only 20, and he goes around and does interviews, which sounds good. But then he said, directly he joined, he wanted to put an advert on the Feeple Family Facebook page about his organisation, which we asked him not to do for the time being. And he's got really shirty about it. And
great.
he's going on, I think there's a History Channel today. He's going on a programme today, and he's going to give us a bad review, he says. So I've blocked him completely. I've taken him out of the Feeple Facebook. We don't want people like that. I mean, he's only 20, and he's trying to tell us if we don't let him put an advert on, he's going to do us harm. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, most of us have found are Feeple family connected with the Feeples themselves. Now, this chap is only 20, and I mean, Keith, I've been writing stories for the internet since 1990, way before he was born, and he's trying to tell us what to do. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's that one. So if you hear anything about it, we have now blocked him out of the Facebook group.
Ronnie, I think Ray's been trying to speak to us.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can you turn your volume up, Ray? Because I can't hear you very well.
That better?
No. Can you turn it up more? No.
Oh.
No, well, that's okay. We can hear you, but it's not very loud.
I was going to ask, how much is the Blue Jeans renewal cost?
Yeah. The moment we're covered because we had all this problem with Blue Jeans, and our original cost was £99 per year, but they put us into this new membership thing, which put it up to 138 a year, but there was no benefits except the sound quality is better, but there are no benefits, and so I complained about it, and they said, oh, they'll keep us on it at the same rate. So I haven't had a bill in to query what they're going to charge us, but that's about £100 a year.
Well, it's not bad, is it?
No, that's
No,
not bad.
very good.
That's a good connection. We have tried a freebie, and if you remember, we didn't have very much luck with it. So we went back to Blue Jeans. At least with Blue Jeans, we can send out invites okay, and everything looks quite good. So I think we'll stay as we are. Agreed with that, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Ray?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah, right. Is there any more queries?
No, I'm quite happy.
No, quite happy. Right, so as I said, that the only problem we've had this last month is this Rishi Sharma. Apart from that, Facebook, we've reached now 601 members on Facebook. As you know, they're not members of the charity part, which you are. So that's gone quite strong, and we're getting quite a lot of feedback on there, which is good. So yeah, we're okay on Facebook. I think that's going along quite well. Feeple Family Group, Feeple Community Group. This is the one we started year 2000. It's absolutely dead now. there's nothing coming through at all, and I keep putting ones on now and again trying to get feedback. Although we've still got 700 odd members on there, I think most of them are gone on to Facebook, which seems the in thing to do. So Meg, still haven't got Meg on, have we?
No.
But yeah, that's a pity because she doesn't like Facebook. She's heard bad feedback on Facebook and she won't come on. But that's a pity because we could do with Meg being on within the group. Right, Keith, I'll leave it to you as chairman to say a few words. All right.
Like what? Yeah, I think so far we've had a pretty good following. It's a shame the meetings are so small. I mean, I can't do Saturdays because 9 times out of 10 I'm at Q. But I think the majority of people get something out of it, which I feel is pretty good. I mean, I know I do. And that's really basically it. It's a shame Martin's not on, but there again, he's in Thailand, I believe, now at the moment.
Yeah, he said
he lost his brother, didn't he? He lost his brother earlier. Ray's having quite an interesting year. Not only is he retired, he's now a granddad.
Yeah. Congratulations, Ray.
Yeah, congratulations, Ray. We saw the picture. Very nice.
Yeah, beautiful.
So now he's retired, he'll have lots of time on his hands. Not. I can testify to that one. At Q yesterday, again, good day. Got quite a few bits and pieces sorted out. Mainly doing research for others, which is on the liberation questionnaires and the bits. There was a file that went missing at Q 8 or 9 years ago, and it was a liberation questionnaire file. WO344405/2. That file was found last week, so I had a look at that, and I think there's a backlog of people asking for stuff because I had to look at it in the invigilation room, and it was logged out to one of the reading room supervisors. So I think there's a lot of people asking for copies and goodness knows what else. And copies are quite expensive to do at Q now. They're £3 a go. So that's why I take my digital camera.
What initial was it then? The liberation questionnaires.
What initials?
Yeah, what initial was it that they found?
It was Thompson K to Totterdell.
Oh, geez.
So it was.
But I must admit, though, Keith, that I do use the Cathedral ones quite a bit, and they are of great assistance.
Well, I'm still pushing as to what is happening with that, because as far as I'm concerned, if nobody is going to do it, I'll do it, and I'll get the rest. I'll get all the questionnaires on, not just the British ones, because there's quite a. It's a very good source of information.
That is very good. I mean, I do use it quite a bit, particularly to get the camps.
Yes.
Because I mean, with the Japanese index cards, it's okay, but you haven't got. Well, you have on the back. You've got camp details, but it's in Japanese. But it's handy. Yeah. No, do you want to learn Japanese, Tim?
No, it's just you can't. It's historic Japanese. That's the problem.
Yeah,
it's not the Japanese of today. And yes, they have all the camps on certain cards, but the ones along the Thai-Burma Railway, there were a set of cards kept because I got a book by somebody who actually kept them. And it's referred to in Swinton's report that there was a British officer and 4 other ranks with each group that kept the cards. And of course, all of those cards went up in smoke on the 15th of August, 1945. So the cards you see for Thailand are from the POW Bureau in Tokyo. And they have very, very sketchy detail on it. It just tells you what, if you're lucky, it will tell you what work group they're in and when they were liberated. And sometimes they actually tell you when they went up country. So it's a shame. Yes, the questionnaires really are your only source of information, providing they're filled out in full. Thailand, 1943 to 1945, doesn't really help.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, give a thanks to Cathedral for keeping the liberation questionnaires going, because they, as I said, they're a great They're great input of information.
Yeah, I just want to see if there's anybody still doing them. If not, then I would just do them to get the rest done,
Yeah,
and then
but the
go
trouble
over
is,
what.
Keith, if you're not careful, you'd be like me. You'll take on too much,
Yeah,
and other things will suffer. And so be very careful, because that's happened to me. I've taken on too much, and in the end, you don't finish one thing.
no, you
You're
don't.
just
Yeah,
skipping between different things. So I've still got about 6 things I started and I haven't finished.
oh yeah, I've
And
got
I keep
loads.
saying I've got to go back and finish them, but then I mean I'm talking about uh, big files that
Yeah.
I wanted to do and I just haven't done them.
Well, no, I started looking up yesterday on repatriation, and I thought, oh, I'll have a look, and I did come across a file, an ADM file, um, volume 4. So you speak to the National Archives. Where's volume 1 to 3? Don't know. So they either didn't come from the Admiralty, or the Admiralty still got them, or they've been destroyed. And I need to see if I've got to write to the Admiralty or send them an email and ask them, have you got this file or these files? Because it does give details of all the, or should give details of the repatriation from various parts of Southeast Asia. And the one they've got there at the moment, I think the majority of it is from Japan.
Who was the one in America who is Michael? We've talked about him before. I can't think of his name at the moment. He goes quite strong. Oh yeah. Anyway, he said he had the full list of POWs who went through America on the way back home.
Oh, right.
And I kept on pushing him for it. And he said he would send it at first, and then I kept reminding him, and in the end, I think he went into hospital for something. And I still haven't received them, so I still haven't got them. But he had the lists, which he got the American lists that came in to America, and he said he had all the lists of the FIPOs,
Oh, right.
which would be quite handy.
That would be brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't think of his name. It's Michael someone. I'll find it up for you. But that would be quite interesting. He is a member of the FIPO group, of our group. That's a pity because we haven't got much on repatriation. That would have been really a good one to have. I'll find up his name for you, and then perhaps you can chase him as well.
Yeah, just have a word with him and see what we can do.
Yeah.
This one's quite interesting. It does name warships and hospital ships and what location they were in. Doesn't give any FIPO names. But I've got to go through it when I go up at Q. I'm up at Q at the end of the month. So I'm going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and start making notes.
Yeah.
Another thing I came across was a list of civilian internees in China that somebody was asking about. But these lists, it's mainly the civilians in Shanghai. But having said that, it's quite a list. It's 100 pages. So that'll be of interest, I suppose.
I found if you go into find my past into the newspapers, the cuttings, the newspaper cuttings, and you put in their repatriation POWs, you do come up with quite a few Japanese POWs. You came up with quite a few, but they're not full lists. That's so and so arrived on the boat home, blah blah blah. So you only get about 20 names. You don't get a full list of everyone.
Yeah. No, that's that. They've got to be somewhere. They're either still at the MOD buried or they've been destroyed.
Hmm. Yeah, well, that's what I heard had happened to the lists in America. And when I brought it up, he came up with. He did. Oh, I know how I get his name. He did come up with the special the officers when they were taken to Korea.
Oh,
He helped me on that. Let me just find his name, so otherwise that'll keep going on.
Yeah, the specials party, we certainly, they got
Yes,
that at Kew.
special parties.
Yeah, they got that at Kew because there were two parties that went out at the same time.
Jim Erickson.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know Jim, don't you? You've talked to us
Yeah,
about him
because he
before.
was, he's the one talking about Unit 731.
Yeah, well, he's the one who said he had the lists of the repatriation,
Oh, right. Well,
you know,
ask him.
through America. So if you chase him as well, if you can get them, you know, and then we can sort something out. But no, he helped me with the special parties list, you know, when I did that. That'd be handy if we can get them, Keith.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the POWs did go through America, so that would be interesting. Right, Ray, come on, we can hear you now.
Okay. Well, I have some good news. I got a phone call from the group in Ubon that I'm involved with, the Thai professional people, and they've been given some funding by the mayor and the governor of Ubon to produce a small booklet on the prisoners of war in Ubon camp and the Thai people that helped them whilst they were there. So that's quite exciting. The book is still in it's a booklet. It's going to be about 25 pages with quite a few photographs in it, because it's aimed at school children, and it will be given away for free to I think most of the schools in Ubon to children. I'm not sure of the distribution yet, but I do believe it will be free. Just to record the prison camp in Ubon, the reason why it was there, and the way that Thai people helped the prisoners when they were in the camp and after the liberation. So I think that was quite a good step forward this week in the work that I'm doing. As I say, it's only 20 pages, so it only covers the barest details, but this is for the Thai school children who, you know, that otherwise they won't know anything about the camp or the airstrip.
Are you including a picture of your shell?
No.
No.
No, but what I want to do, I'm going back to Thailand in about a month's time, with the shell and the artifacts that I found, you know, the shrapnel and bits and pieces, and the bricks from the oven. That I'm going to see if we can get those lodged in the town's museum, and have a little area in there with you know, a brief description in Thai and English about the prison camp and the prisoners. So that's my next goal. But I really want to add to that collection so that there's a good variety of things to look at, which you know, almost be compelling to put them into the museum rather than in my study in Thailand, which you know they're safe there, but they're not doing anything.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's
You know.
good. What I will do,
yeah, sorry, Keith. After
right.
you, Keith.
What I will do, Ray, is send you an email, because you've done a list of POWs that were in Ubon.
Yep.
And it would appear that Sarah Edwards' grandfather is not on it.
Okay.
Now, I don't know why, so I'm going to look up all these documents and that here. But was there that you know of another work camp very near Ubon, like a satellite camp?
Yeah. There was two camps. I'm almost certain of it now.
Yeah, so because he says that I returned September the so and so. We returned to Ubon. I thought, because what? So it indicates perhaps that he was out in a satellite camp.
Well, Ubon had an existing aerodrome that was built in 1923. Goes back to some of the original reasons why there was an aerodrome there. It was because Ubon was so remote that, and in I think it was 1921, there was an outbreak of smallpox in the area, and to get the vaccine from Bangkok would have taken 8 days by road. There was no railway. So they came up with the idea of flying, and they flew the vaccine to Ubon, and then the sort of popularity of it caught on. So they built an airstrip, and then started flying regular flights for the post, and that continued through the 1920s and 30s. So there was an existing airstrip there, taken over by the Royal Thai Air Force, and the second camp was at that aerodrome, and it was, as far as I know, it was occupied by Dutch prisoners of war, about 400 of them, and the reason for it was the Japanese were getting a bit twitchy about invasion, and they wanted to put more defence pillboxes, slit trenches, just machine gun posts and fuel dumps, ammunition dumps, and so on. So there was a group of about 400 of them, mainly Dutch, at Ubon Aerodrome, which is about 8 kilometres away from the main Ubon camp at Ban Nong Pai. So yes, there was two, but I think they probably would have been transferred back up there at some point.
Right. It's 10:30.
But my biggest problem with researching this is the lack of information on the Dutch side. There was 1,500 Dutch prisoners there, and I can't find any information about them. You know, the medical diary at Kew only covers British casualties. There's no reference at all, except that a couple of references to say transferred to Dutch hospital. So the indications are they probably had their own, hospital and kept their own huts and so on and so forth, and didn't mix particularly often, certainly as far as the administration records are concerned. But yeah, that's interesting, Keith. Thanks for that. I shall add him to the list.
Yeah, I'll drop you the details.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get any more, don't forget to let me know, Ray, so I can add them into the Roll of Honour.
Yeah. It does need updating a little bit. That the Roll of Honour was combined with the records that I got out of the medical diary, with a list that Andrew Snow had at Thai Burma Railway Centre, and we combined that list. But obviously there are some gaps because they might have been missed off Andrew's list and not had a medical record there, which is good news because that means he weren't ill. But
he got a medical record because in his diary there was this very big blank area, and I thought, what the heck's that? Why? And that's what led me to look at the medical records. And he was in and out of hospital for a fair old bit.
Was he?
Yeah.
But he's not on my list.
He's on the medical list.
Ah, right.
But he's not on the list of men actually at Ubon camp. So I'm thinking, did he not put that on his liberation questionnaire? So I'll look at the paperwork. I'll drop you a line.
Have you got another list then, Keith? Of
no,
prisoners?
only your one.
No,
only your one.
Oh, okay.
I'll just look up his record because I asked Sarah and her mum, do you want to put a photo page at the Arboretum? And she's looking to get to the details, and she has a copy of your list from the Researching FIPO History Group page.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, my dad's not on it." So I said I'd look into it and come back to her. So.
Well, that seems like an error at my end.
No, it may be he never put Ubon on his questionnaire. He may well not have put it on because the questionnaire there's a big gap. So I'll drop you a list anyway. I'll drop you a note.
I just wondered, Keith, whilst you're on, and it's a slightly different tack, would the COFIPO Museum at the Arboretum be interested in some of the bricks?
I think they would be, but the trouble is we can't display them downstairs.
Right.
That's the problem. I can't give you that that guarantee, because there was an agreement way before my time with the Arboretum that once they did the exhibition downstairs and they've got all the bits and pieces and the signage and all the rest of it, and they brief all the Arboretum team, it would stay untouched. We had to do an exception to get hold of the Java table. Otherwise, that would have gone to a collector and would have disappeared. But at the moment, because that's going to the art exhibition that Meg Parks' group is organising in Liverpool, that's not downstairs at all. And we've got to look at how we're going to do that. But whatever we put downstairs has to be kept to an absolute minimum.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I had a peculiar one during the week. I got an email about two brothers who were captured, who she said they were both on Lisbon Maru. I could find one, and Tony emailed her with some information. Tony Banham emailed her with some information because I asked him to, and he gave her some information, but I couldn't find the other brother. And in the end, I found him. He wasn't even in Hong Kong. He was in Singapore. So they thought they were both in Hong Kong together, but they weren't. And he was actually on the railway, and I couldn't find. I'm just thinking, was that the one I couldn't find? And no, that was Hayter, George Hayter. Keith.
Yeah.
I couldn't find a Japanese index card for him. George Hayter. Hayter. If you can, when you're at Q next time, if you could just see if you could find a index card for him, because I couldn't find one. Because normally I put the index card on the Roll of Honour page, but I just couldn't find one for him.
Okay.
Right. Hillary. Come on, you don't get away without not saying anything, Hillary.
You have to excuse me. I was just going to say, actually, that normally I can't join these meetings because it's actually 10:30 at night here in New Zealand. And normally I'm in bed by this stage. So I'm in my pajamas. I hope you don't mind. And I was actually just going to say that I am going to have to say goodbye because I go to work, you see, and I have to get up early tomorrow. But I just kind of wanted to say hello and yes.
Your pictures are very good from New Zealand. They're very good.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, you're coming across very well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It's a long way away.
It is a bit.
Well,
yes,
that is
yes.
nice. That's nice to see you at the meeting, Noel, and hope to see you again. Yeah, in the
hopefully,
future.
yes. In fact, I'm planning a trip back to the UK in July next year. So, and I'm hoping to get to the Arboretum and maybe a few other places. But yeah.
Let us know when it is, Hillary, and I'll make sure I'm there.
Yes. Yeah, sure. Good. Excellent. Thank you.
No
Yes.
problem.
Good to see you again, Keith.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, good night, everybody. Ka kite.
Okay.
And
Good night.
Good night,
see you again
Hillary.
another time.
Good night.
Okay.
Lovely to see you.
Bye, Hillary.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right, Barbara.
Hi. Well, no, I just love to sit and hear you all talking and so much knowledge, which blows me away. Especially Keith quoting all these numbers and things of the different files. I haven't got anything really apart from a little bit of sadness. I don't know if you've heard about the statue in San Francisco that has been put up to commemorate the comfort women. San Francisco was twinned with Osaka, and Osaka have now, because of the statue, broken off that twinning. I think that's really sad. What a reflection. I thought we'd moved past all of this, that we could now look back and commemorate those that suffered in the war without thinking that we're getting at Japan or anything. I mean, during any war, both sides in a war, and in the World War II, there were a lot of sides, do commit atrocities, but the comfort women their lot was horrendous. So I was very sad, and I noticed this morning there were a lot of comments coming up on the site that I go on to, the Indo site. Even going back to comments about the states that they would use the atom bomb again if they could. But I felt very sad that the commemoration to the comfort women who, need recognition has led to this with Osaka. So just that was my one little bit.
It is sad. I mean, yeah, we weren't completely free of doing things during the war, which we should be ashamed of. But you've got to acknowledge, my uncle, he got really upset after they lost. They had to retreat in Burma, and they left their sick. And then when they retook the site, the Japanese had pinned them over bamboo shoots, which had gone through the body. And he said the next Japanese they captured, they pinned them out and drove a lorry over them. But he was very, very, he didn't like what they did at all. He said, how did we know they were the same Japanese who'd done it to our lads? Yeah. So, war isn't a pretty thing, is it?
In fact, I'm so pleased to hear what Ray has said, that what they're going to do in Ubon with that pamphlet. I think that's fabulous. This is what we need. If Osaka could have put up their hands and said, yes, it was awful what happened, and let's discuss it. I would admire them for doing that. But Ray, I think what's going to happen in Ubon is fantastic. It's those little things.
They did a similar one in Sandakan. They did a similar booklet. The Australians did it because they lost a lot there as well as us. I think they lost more than us.
Quite a lot, Ronnie, because I was looking at it the other day.
Yeah, there was.
We lost 600 and something, and I think they lost
1,700. I think it was. I think we lost. Yeah. In all, that was 2,500 near enough. 6 Australians survived, and that's just because they escaped. Because if they hadn't escaped, they'd have died with the rest of them. And it's ever so awkward because I had another one during the week, and this happened. I said at the last meeting I had one about Burma, Rangoon. They were captured in Burma and in Rangoon jail. And I had another one during the week, and of course directly you find out what regiment is in, for a fact he wasn't in Singapore or anything, Duke of Wellington's, and they were of course in Burma, fighting in Burma, and that's the second one I've had in the last months, saying that they were captured and Feebles, and of course he was never a Feeble. He died January, February, March. He died the 31st of March. And she said, whereabouts was he held as a Feeble? Well, he wasn't held as a Feeble because he's in the Rangoon Memorial, so in no known grave, so he died in Burma, which is sad because they never knew what happened to them. The memorial in Rangoon, the Burmese didn't really give us any time to collect our dead. They give us a limited time because the military took over in Burma, and they only give us a certain amount of time to collect our dead to put in our Commonwealth graves. So a lot of them were left where they died, which is horrible. Horrible. So that was another one. So she wanted to know where he was buried. It's not. What do you say? You've got to come back and say, well, he was Rangoon Memorial, so there's no known grave. You've got to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's horrible. Anyway, Tim.
I've got a couple. One, you might be able to help me with something. If you look at casualty list, there's quite often a handwritten number against the
Yeah.
the typewritten numbers. My feeling is it's probably the number of the press release of the casualty list, but I can't find anyone who can either confirm, deny,
Yeah, Keith is
or
the best one
explain what.
to answer this, I
Which
think.
casualty
Yeah,
list are you looking at? I'm
any
looking at.
most casualty lists have a handwritten number against them.
I think it's just paperwork, isn't it, Keith?
I think
It's
so.
paperwork.
I know. On some of them you have a reference right at the top.
No, it's not. It's not that. It's actually handwritten, in ink. The numbers quite often the same for different people, and they're normally very close together anyway, even if they're not far apart. But nobody seems to know what these refer to.
Unless that was Keith, unless that was who was dealing with it, reference they've received it, whatever.
I don't think so, because
Possibly.
they seem to actually run in a series. I mean, if you start off with a low number casualty list, this handwritten number is in the low series. Once you get, higher up, the handwritten numbers higher up as well, so it's not.
I'm wondering in W0417, and there's 106 files of those. The first 6, I think, are officers. These were weekly casualty lists that were issued by.
That's right. Yes.
The War Office. Is it the handwritten number in those?
Numbers in those. Sorry,
Is that-
my Wi-Fi's playing up.
Is that handwritten number in those lists you're thinking
Yes.
of, or is it?
Yeah.
All right.
In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do, Keith. I'll copy one and
Okay.
email it to you.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
Have a look and see if.
Yeah, we'll do.
Lots of people are trying to find out what the thing is.
Okay.
I've got another thing. I sent you an email some time ago, Ronnie, about the Wayback Project. Have you heard of that before?
About
Wayback Project and archive.org. It's I think I'm having a bit of trouble with my internet, so if I break up, you'll have to shout. It's a computer system somewhere in America which has been running for about 10 years, I think, maybe more, and it trawls, or they say crawls, the internet and records for everlasting memory sites of interest. Well, interesting enough, all your sites seem to be on it. So, but it's actually a very good thing for looking up sites that disappeared for one reason or another.
Is it just way back, as in way back?
Back, I think. And it's either if you Google it, I think it's Wayback Machine or Wayback Project.
Oh yeah, I got Wayback Machine.
Yeah, and it puts it all into a storage called archive.org.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
But all the FIPO community pages, Roll of Honour, all that is all on there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it even goes back because I was looking at it. It's fractionally out of date because I think the machine's continually going through the ether and recording this stuff. So it may pick it up once every year or once every 2 years, but it will tell you on the site when it last updated. But it means your sites, the ones it's got Britain at War on it as well. It's all recorded for posterity, and it's backed up in 2 different places, so it should never be lost.
Oh yeah, I can remember you sent it to me, and you sent me a link which was on their site, which the site had actually gone down. That was the one, wasn't it?
Yes,
the site had gone down, and you sent me the link, and they had it in their archive.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I thought Keith might have heard about it because I actually use a site which I think you might use. Do you ever use a site that's called Royal Artillery 1939 to 45?
I have in the past, yeah.
You know, which looks up the regiments and gives the battery numbers, and that's actually now held on the Wayback Machine because it's, you know, whoever started it originally, it's disappeared. So if you ever type in for a site and it comes back site not found because, you know, whoever set it up discontinued themselves, it's quite often worth going back to the Wayback Machine or archive.org and typing in the URL there, and it might well come up again.
Yeah, I can remember now. It was about 2 or 3 years ago. You sent me about the Wayback Machine, and of course a site had gone down, and we managed to get some stuff off it, didn't we?
Something like that. Yes.
Yeah, that was about 2 or 3 years ago.
No, this one would be about 2 or 3 months ago. I think
no,
the one.
it's a lot longer than that.
No, the one that was 2 or 3 years ago, I think, was the Dutch site, which gave information on ships or something, and we resolved that, and you altered the URL on the FEPO page, FEPO community pages or something.
Yeah,
That's probably
that was the two ships which weren't quoted as leaving Java in as a Java party. They were the ships.
Like
they were the ships we were trying to find, weren't they? That was peculiar, Keith. There was two ships we found that left. They were special party, but they weren't officers. They left Java, and they weren't recorded as a Java party, mainly because they didn't stop at Changi. They didn't stop at Singapore.
That's right, yeah.
So they didn't get a Java party. Mystery parties. That's right. I can't remember that one of the boats began with T, and that went to Burma. And that went to Burma.
No, it was the Singapore Maru was the one that went from, because my dad was on one. There was a Yoshida Maru from Java to Singapore, and then the Singapore Maru from Singapore to Japan.
Yeah.
But they actually changed over in the docks.
Yeah, so they didn't
They never went through.
No, they didn't nuke them at Changi. No.
Yeah. Most seem to get a week or two's holiday in Changi, en route to wherever they were going.
Yeah, I did one during the week, which was the same type of thing. They left Java, and they spent 3 or 4 weeks in Changi, and then they went to Japan. So, but and that was a peculiar one I got during the week. He died 1946. That was actually on the internet, on Facebook, and I did a page for him, and he died 1946. And when he went into Changi, he was about 12 stone. When he left Changi, he was just under 8 stone. 7 stone something. But he died of cancer right after the war, 1946. So not very nice, is it?
Nope.
You know. Anyway, right. That's good. I'll have a look at that way back, Tim. That's really good.
It's really useful if you come across somebody thinks an obsolete site, because quite often it's actually being held on that way back. Of
course, can you remember when Anthea Beckett died? She was doing the Java Index.
That's right.
And she died, and Roger Mansell, who's now unfortunately passed away, he got in touch with me and said, would you mind taking over the Java Index, Ron? And I said, fair enough then, I'll take it over. But the site had gone offline then. But he'd recorded all the pages. So he sent me all the pages, and I had to convert it back into a database to put back in on the internet. And of course, then that was, I think she had about just under 2,000 names in the Java index. I got up to 32,000, but that was taking so much time. I weren't getting anything else done. Right. Before we close, we've sold our house. We're packing up now. We're getting rid of all our furniture, which we can get rid of. So things are going to be a bit disrupted. Now, I've left it to the end because I think the members ought to think about it. Do they want me and Gillian to carry on?
Yes.
After we move, that'll be okay. But for about 3 months, there's going to be a lot of disruption. We've got to move because Gillian's finding it very hard to get up the stairs now. Even she's struggling with arthritis. She's willing to carry on doing the treasury bit, and I'm willing to carry on. But if the members want it changed, we won't hold it against the members at all. So it's up to the members. If you want us to carry on, we will do. But bear in mind there is going to be some disruption for the next 3 months. Having said that, I've been doing the ensuite to get that finished. I've now got the shine. It's all grouted. Great. I'm getting there. When I finish here, I've got to get a mirror up. So I'm getting there. And they bought it without actually seeing it. So we're okay. But as I said, there will be some disruption. So if the members want to have somebody else do the secretarial work and the treasury.
Can I just say, and congratulations on selling your house and good luck with the move. I did email you the other day because my membership is due to be renewed as to what address we should be sending this, and also there must be other members who will need this guidance too. Do you still want it sent to your present address, or do you want to send me the details of where you want it sent to?
No, we'll move in, they said, maybe beginning of January.
Yeah.
So we are going to a park home in a park. Yeah. So we've got plenty of places to take the dog. And we'll keep our caravan up North Norfolk so we can take him up there as well. So plenty of walks, but that will be January. So use this address for now. When I do change it, I will put on the pages that we have changed address and the new address. But for now, this address.
Okay, that's fine.
I think it's worked out quite well, the Feeble family. I mean, that's helped me no end because it's helped us fund, which my job used to help fund. So it's really has helped. Like everything else, there's times when you think, well, we're getting older, and do we really want to do it? But to be honest, I'd be lost without doing it. I'd be lost without writing the pages. I mean, this last week I've put about 6 new entries into after doing research on. I'm getting the Japanese index cards and everything. I enjoy doing it. It's just that, this last year has been a problem with Gillian. Not mentally. Her walking is getting worse and worse. So I think we've got to think about change. Well, we have thought about it. We are changing. So you all know what me and Gillian are doing. Hopefully things will work out and we'll be able to settle in and get sorted out. We've got a good Wi-Fi connection there. So the place is being built now, so we've built it to what we want, and I've increased the study, so I've got a nice big office to do my stuff in. It's so important to me. And all my books.
Yep.
All my books have got to be moved. I've told them I'm not going to move until I get a big bookcase. So they are giving me a big bookcase. Think about it. I'm not going to ask for a decision now. Think about it, and then next meeting, if the members decide anything different, and this will be put on the site, this is being recorded, so if the members do think they want a change, I'm okay. I won't hold it against anyone. As long as we keep the FIPO thing going.
Ronnie, you are the father of the FIPO family.
Oh, that brings me back to Ray. Ray, what a fantastic thing. That picture was brilliant.
Little Evie, gorgeous.
That was a really, what is her name?
Evie.
Evie.
Evie Fleur.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And we're going to see her this afternoon. So I'm looking forward to that.
How is your daughter? Is she well?
Yeah, I think so. They've had a slight problem with Evie with her feeding. It's got this. I'd not heard of it until yesterday. It's called tongue tie.
Oh, yes.
And it means that the little under the tongue there's a like a flap.
It's 11 hours.
And with babies, sometimes this it is a bit too forward on the tongue, and it restricts them latching onto the breast for feeding. So supplementary feeding has to be given to sort of increase the weight, because all babies lose weight at birth, but little Evie's lost a little bit too much, so she's had to have this additional feed. But the onus is on mum, really, because she has to feed every 2 to 3 hours, which is a bit exhausting.
Tiring.
Yeah. So anyway, Evie had the operation. Well, not operation. It's a little procedure yesterday that released this tongue tie. So hopefully, and apparently it heals very quickly. So hopefully we're back on track. And just for the record, whilst we've been speaking, my daughter sent me a photo. So as proud granddad, I will put this photo up.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, she's such a sweetie. I love
her. All the photographs I've seen, she's always asleep. So I'm sure that's not the case. But
you can wake her up this afternoon, then, Ray, when you have a cuddle.
Thank you for your good wishes. And I'll pass those on to Evie and mum and dad.
Give her our best. When our oldest daughter, she used to come in our first shop with us, and we had a tallish counter, and we had a tall chair for her to sit on, and she slipped off it and hit her chin on the top of the counter, and her teeth went right through her tongue. The tongue was but it soon healed. Loads of blood, but that soon healed.
Frightening.
Took it to the hospital, and they said, "There's nothing we can do about it. That'll heal itself," and it did. It healed ever so quick. Although she had a little scar on her tongue all the time, but babies they get over things so quickly. Yeah. Anyway, good meeting. I think we've gone through everything. So money-wise, there's no problem with the group at all. We're getting enough money in. We've got enough members taken over from the ones who didn't renew. So we've got enough money coming in to pay for everything. And when new, at the moment we're okay with pins. Although Gillian has put here, the pins sold this last year was £54, and donations were £150.24. So that was good. So the donations button is working. So that's good to have. Okay, everyone.
Sorry, is that donations? Is that donations since you put the button on? Because that wasn't that long ago. Or is that donations over the year?
Was over the year.
Yeah.
That's this last year. We've had £150, 24 donations. So the button hasn't been on that long, but it has got a little in. It has got a little in. But last year, not this year, the year before, we had one chap get in touch and sent us £200 donation. I'm not going to mention names, but he has got 3 daughters who are members of the Facebook. So what we did is we gave him 8 years subscription to the Facebook family. So we gave him 8 years so he can look at all the things on Facebook family. So that was okay. Right. Are we okay, everyone?
Yep.
Yes, fine.
Good meeting. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
We haven't had.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Well, we haven't had that many come on the meeting, but I think it went fairly well. But I will leave it to next meeting when we decide, what the members want doing with me and Gillian. The next meeting will be 21st. Yeah, 20th. 20th is a Saturday, so the 20th of October, everyone. Okay.
I'll give you my apologies now then, because we've got visitors coming to stay on that day.
Yeah, I'm in London as well, so.
Yeah.
I may be a bit stuck as well. I'm not sure yet.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if I'll still be here. But no, so we'll say the 20th of October, and then see who turns up. It's nice to keep them going regularly, even if we don't have many turn up. At least that's going. Okay, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, everyone.
Okay.
And don't forget, Keith, to chase Ericsson.
Yep. Okay.
I'll stop recording there.